Hello everyone, and welcome to my video on how to detect clean coins. Now, this is a subject that is very controversial. Most people, collectors, dealers, and experts alike will tell you do not clean your coins. So I'm going to tell you, do not clean your coins. Ever. Now, I guess there are some times, if a coin has tape on it like residue, glue, things like that, you can clean it. Or if it's not worth much and you want to play around with it, that's your coin. You can do what you want with it. But don't clean a coin expecting to get more value out of it, and don't clean your coin expecting it to retain its value in the future. Now, with that being said, coins have been cleaned for a long time. Just because someone says your coin's clean doesn't mean they're telling you that you cleaned the coin. It just means that the coin at one time was cleaned. It could have been cleaned 50 years ago. It could have been cleaned 100 years ago. That's irrelevant. A clean coin is always going to be a clean coin, because once you remove that real thin natural striking layer, then the coin's clean. Or if you gouge it, in other words with some type of an abrasive, then you are cleaning that coin. The controversy lies in dipping in a brightener like E-Zest or acetone, MS-70, I believe there's a lot of those on the market. You can buy those at all coin dealer supply shops. They're there for a reason. They're there so that you can use them on coins that are uncirculated very carefully to remove debris, ugly toning, tape, things of that nature. They have to be used with caution. They are used by dealers. Now, some people say, well, that cleans the coin. Well, yes and no. Okay, PCGS will charge you to do it for you. So will NGC. It's called restoration. And basically it's a coin that has something on it. PVC could be on the coin. It could be a lot of things. It's going to cost you to have it done. Typically, you can spend 60 to 80 bucks to have a coin restored. It just depends on the value after it's cleaned and what it grades. They do sometimes a 3%, depending on which company you're sending it to. Now, I don't get into depth here because I know it gets kind of confusing, but let's just suffice it to say that if you are an expert, or at least someone who's very experienced in coins, and you know that your coin has never been cleaned in the past and it is most certainly uncirculated and it has some spots on it, or it has something it shouldn't have like PVC or tape, that it's okay to try to dip the coin. And there are instructions on doing that, and you do it very carefully with water and a quick dip, and you pat dry or you air dry with a air compressor. But you don't want to scrub your coins. The bottom line is, do not use an abrasive of any kind on a coin at all. And if you have any questions about a coin, whether it's been cleaned or not, take it to a dealer, or put the pictures up in one of the Facebook groups, or send me an email. Now, with that, I want to show you, as you can see here, here's a coin that I sent off on purpose. I sent off for this very reason, to show people, and I've had it out several times at the shop here to show people that this coin looks really nice. But when I got it back from PCGS graded it genuine, cleaned, uncirculated details. Now, I agreed with this. I've seen this before. Now, most people would think this coin was probably a gem. You'll see them on eBay, and this is what throws people off. They'll buy stuff off eBay and think the person's ripping them off. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's not. The reverse of this coin is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not cleaned. But when you turn it over on the obverse, and I put it in different angles here, you can see some of the darker areas. Some people might call this whizzed, but I do know that a corrosive was used. Maybe hydrochloric acid. It was just put on the coin just a tad, maybe to kind of... when a coin has contact marks, it gets contact marks on it, little ticks. That creates little valleys and ridges in the coin's surface, that real thin striking layer that's real dense. When you put a little acid on it real fast and then throw it under water to dilute it, to keep it from eating into the coin too much and pitting the coin, you're actually decreasing the highs of those little ridges, and they're extremely small. Don't get me wrong. They're microscopic, but yet once you do that, then it makes the coin look like it's more smooth to the naked eye. It decreases the amount of reflections and refractions from the coin surface to your eyes, and it looks like it's got less marks. And that's what they did with this coin. Now, believe me, there's probably going to be somebody who you can say, well, they probably did this to the coin, maybe not that. But I can tell you, they used something on this coin. Right here are some darker areas, and some people say, well, it might have been where they polished the die a little bit. That's possible. Okay? Right here's a couple other areas. But the problem here, you see these, there are marks on the coin, and at certain angles, they can be masked with light. That's another problem with clean coins. But it has a sort of a flatness. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here is an original piece dollar. I'm going to put it over top of it, or put it this. Can you see the difference? Can you see that it's got the frostiness to it still? Original die surface strikes. It'll strike that frostiness, that depth of field, the contrast. This coin, can you see it? It's just flat. I'll put it side by side here. It's not focused in as well. You can see a slight difference in the coins. It's very imperceptible to most people who are not experienced. But when you see a coin with this flatness or these little areas like this, you might want to be careful about buying the coin if you're planning on sending it off, because it's probably going to be cleaned. Now let's move on to another incident here, and I'm trying not to get too detailed here, but I just got this back from PCGS. When I sent it off, I was expecting AU details, genuine. I've seen plenty of coins. This coin literally should only have, and what they did was, let's put it this way, this is what they did. They gave me AU58, a gift. Any dealer's going to call this a gift, and the reason, an AU58 coin has only the slightest amount of wear over the high points. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a weak strike on this coin a little bit, and I get that. But the problem is that there's more than just a little bit of wear. Even if this coin is not cleaned like I suspected, and like I know it is, it still has more wear than an AU58. I don't know why PCGS did this. I can't answer that question. I don't know. It's just beyond me, but the coin has been cleaned, and I fully believe if I send it back in, it could get cleaned. It'd definitely get cleaned. And something I'll show you here next to it, here is a coin that graded in the same lot, okay, and it graded MS62. Now, MS62 is only 3-point grades higher than an AU, or 4-point grades higher than an AU58, okay? So this coin, being the highest AU grade they give a coin, should just barely have any wear on it, and it should still have some of this nice frost to it. It shouldn't be so barren. I mean, when you see a coin that's original, you see this contrast in the fields. It's kind of the cartwheel effect, they call it. They all don't have to have the cartwheel. It's not. Some coins have more frost in the fields as well. It just depends on the finish of the die. There's so many factors. It just takes years of experience and study. You got to really study this out. But sometimes the fields have been polished. Maybe a die clash and they remove the clash marks. Okay, maybe in this case it's not proof-like though. I don't want to be fooled into thinking it's proof-like. It's not. But it does have some depth in the field, which is nice. It's got some frost on it, you know, some contrast. That's what most people like with their coins. Sometimes the fields have a little more frost in it. They've never been polished, early die stage or whatever. So they're not going to have that cartwheel as much. This coin here, when you see this, I mean, the fields are almost as deep looking, you know, I mean, we're talking as same as this cheek. You know, you can say, yeah, it's a weak strike, and you can say that and say, it looks AU58 to me. PCGS knows what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing, and that's fine. Go ahead. You know, everybody's got their opinion. I could send this, but I just fully believe I send this coin back in and I can get cleaned out of it. And I might send it back in and not get clean. I could send it to NGC and get clean. But the bottom line is, the coin looks clean to me, and you know, this is to help people understand that you got to be careful when a coin looks like this in a picture. You pretty much know it's cleaned. If they go like this to it, or they put it at an angle to you, I see this a lot on eBay. They'll say this is AU58, and they'll blind it out like this, and it looks like a coin that should be graded 60s. And it looks like mint state. I see it all the time. I mean, Just don't be fooled by these people. It's not worth it. They don't know what they're doing. They just they want to save face. They want that coin because they know that's a rare coin. Here's a couple more Morgan dollars here. Okay, these are almost exact grades. This one here has a little more wear. This one has less, but they're both AU coins. And I want you to notice the cheek. When you have the frost on a coin actually reflects more light, because it's actually real little small tips on a coin's the die surface and which struck into the coin. When you remove those, then you have a deep area on a coin, which I call deep, because the light does not refract off of it. In other words, I guess the best way to say this is that imagine this being little pimples all over the coin, and I mean millions of pimples, tens of thousands of pimples, or however you want to term it. And out of all of that, since they're made out of silver, they're reflecting all kinds of light back. So you're seeing light here, here, here. Here, those have been removed. The coin has been cleaned. Those little frosty areas are gone. So you don't see light reflecting in it. That's why you see the areas dark. Okay. Now if this was in the field, you could say, well, maybe it was a polished die, maybe it was an early die state. But it's not. It's right on that cheek and right on the neck. That was done on purpose. That was done on purpose to remove contact marks. And of course, the coin looks like it circulated after that. Okay, and that brings me back to the 1902S that I had here. It's another example. The frost is gone. This coin has been played with in the past. It actually has the darker areas where it shows a little bit of the toning coming back after it's been messed with. But that's why it's so dark. There's nothing to reflect the light. The surface is almost smooth. That's what you look for in a Morgan, an original Morgan. You want to see, unless it's proof-like. You know, there are some proof-likes that'll look similar to this. You know, but coin, and this is not a silver dollar, but it is an Eisenhower dollar. It's a Type 2, and they graded it Unk Details, genuine. I sent it off basically because it was a Type 2, and they said it was tooled. Now, right here, it's in the hair. It's so imperceptible. But it's right there, if you can see it there at the video. I'll turn it in the light a little bit. When you have it like this, you don't see it. That can be hidden. It can be hidden with angles. There, you can see it right here really good. Now otherwise the coin's okay, but you could sure hide it if you wanted to in an eBay picture. That's why you got to be very careful about eBay angles and lighting. You want to see a coin straight on. You want to ask for other angles. People should always post large images of their coins so people can see what they're buying. You know, here's the back. The reverse is just fine. You know. Anyways, hopefully you learned something. I'm going to try to do more videos on this and some more details on things. You know, as I say, it's a controversial subject. I mean, it's one of those deals where, you know, some people think that anything you do to a coin surface is cleaning it, and it's not completely true, but it is true. Because what it is, when you have a coin that's already cleaned and it's retoned or it's gotten dirty from circulation a little bit, it's still going to have the characteristics of being cleaned in the past. You touch it, then it's really going to look clean badly. But if that coin is actually original and you don't do anything harsh to remove the actual frosty layer, the striking layer that the dye imparted, then you're not cleaning the coin. You're restoring the coin. Sometimes you got to remove PVC. The TPGs won't grade them. I mean, third-party grading services will not grade coins like PCGS and NGC. If they got PC on them, they'll send them back. You know, sometimes the surfaces are older to the point where they won't grade them either. So, like I said, you know, hopefully you learned. If you got any questions, please put it in the comments. Please join my groups. You know, visit my website. I have articles on clean coins, and maybe next time I can go into some other types of coins, maybe copper and things like that. But thanks for watching. Please share. It's important to share videos like these because there's so much going on with clean coins. You should be erring on the side of caution when it comes to a real expensive coin. If you're just buying silver, it's no big deal. But anyways, please comment, and like I said, please share, and please like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If this helped you out, subscribe. You're going to see more of it. Thanks, and have a great day.